Welcome everybody to our Unblinded Sales Mastery Morning Huddle, where we talk every single morning from 8:30 to 9 o'clock Eastern, looking to bring it down to about 15 minutes, where we talk about the fun and excitement of exponentially growing our sales. I'd like to start off first and say thank you, because we've had many members of our movement who come in and come out and come in and come out, and even though that is definitely a way to mastery, it is those that have committed to mastery and not intellectual entertainment that are going to grow in an exponential way. So I honor all of you for being here consistently. It is 8:30. Sean, are you here with us? And Joe Hagan, if you could please mute yourself, that would be awesome. Joe Hagan, please mute yourself. One more time, Sean, are you here with us?
Joe Hagan's in the house.
What's happening, Joe? What is present for you, brother? We have not heard your voice. What is going on in the world of Joe on Trajectory Tuesday? 30 seconds before Sean jumps on. What's happening?
Joe, I'm not sure if they know who you are, brother.
It's all good. I'm on a treadmill.
That's awesome. What's going on, Mayor of Money? We got Rob Gill. What is going on, brother? I hear we're going to hear how you went from 8 to 125, getting 120, possibly more sales meetings, being defined as someone who knows who you are and knows what you offer and is sitting with you with the opportunity to say yes or no. What is present for you on this Trajectory Tuesday, Rob?
What's present for me, which I didn't know Joe Hagan was going to be on the call, under his watch, I opened up 3,000 accounts over the phone from 98 to 2004 and trained 10 other people to do the same thing. And I had no idea Joe was going to be on this call. And he can validate and vouch.
Yeah, no, Joe, thank you for being there. Fernando, great start. Hey, Rob, stay with me. We're going to get to some stuff shortly. And, hey, it's Trajectory Tuesday, folks. And what is happening on this Trajectory Tuesday? And I want to disrupt certainty, ego, and knowingness right now. I don't think there's a lot of ego present, but there could be a little certainty and knowingness. And the disruption is this. We are here to accelerate your ecosystem mergers that are frictionless, to increase our level of integrity-based human influence, to fire up and exponentially grow the quantity and quality of your sales meetings and actual sales and revenue, to create scalability so that you have replacing yourself in the sales process, in your business, and acceleration and duplication, to create business ownership status, whether you own the business or you just own your sales or not, to create more magic in your life. Like, that's what this is. That's what this is. And this applies to lots of other things in life, but that's what we're doing here. More money in less time with more magic. That's what is present. It's not hype. It's not hype. It's in our heart. It is fun. It is exciting. It's not magic. It feels like magic. It's science that creates magic. And that's what we're doing here on this Trajectory Tuesday. And we are dialing in tighter and tighter. And we're still going to be having fun. We're still going to be in our heart, because magic is present. Winning is fun. Hugging, high-fiving, celebrating, looking at yourself in the mirror, listening to a song, feeling every part of your growth, your success. You're being an example of possibility and a force for good in this world. Like, that's the outcome of this. And the process is what makes that a reality. And so from a process perspective, on this Trajectory Tuesday, and Trajectory Tuesday is about creating breakthroughs that equal acceleration, that equal exponential acceleration. And so I want to drop in with Rob Gill for a second, because Rob Gill, and we hear the numbers, 8 to 25 to 150, but the process was so critical. And I'm going to fast forward through it to just get to how Rob generated 120 sales meetings for Epic, or the potential for sales meetings, forms filled out for Epic this past week. And it begins, and I'll just get some verbal confirmation from him, very simply at, when he and I met, Rob was a very successful salesperson. You've heard me say that before. Rob was somebody who made 7 figures in a year multiple times. And Rob had opened, as he just said, 3,000 accounts over the telephone. So from an influence mastery perspective, Rob was functioning at a very high level. Is that a fair statement, Rob Gill?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and your certainty in your ability to sell is extremely high. Is that correct?
I'll put myself up against anybody to this day.
Got it. Okay. So now here's an important and critical question. When we met, right, how many sales meetings were we having per month?
8.
Right. So in the language and the formula, trajectory-wise, team, what we're saying is that Rob had a process mastery opportunity first. Because the sales meetings, the marketing that was happening, and marketing is everything that you do to generate a sales meeting. That's how we define it in the formula. So diagnostically, that's why the formula is so powerful. It's like 8 sales meetings a month, dude. You're Rob Gill. You have tremendous sales skills. So what's going on? Obviously, it's a process marketing mastery issue because the number should be a lot higher.
And I couldn't comprehend that either, by the way. Just
right.
Taking us back to that time. Yep.
And there's no ego because it's not like, is Rob a good dude or not a good dude, or is Rob talented or not? That's not the question. The question is 8 a number that other people have more? And the answer is heck yes. So it's beautiful. Just like if you're, playing golf, play golf or playing baseball or something, you're saying, hey, listen, I'm a great player and I know I can hit, but I'm hitting 250 right now. And I'm definitely not a 250 hitter. So what's present that's making me a 250 hitter? Or what's making it that I'm getting like 85s on my history tests when I know I can get 95s? There's something in the process that can be different. That's it. No ego, no nothing. It's not who you are. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing. It's what your process is. Okay. So then, Rob, this is where the distinctions become even more powerful. And my question for you is, when you were at 8, would you say that you were at, if you're going to say an A meeting for you would be a person that had, I don't know, what would, in 2 years ago, what would an A meeting have been for you? Like a really kick-butt meeting. How would you have defined the person either by their income level or by their asset base in your world?
That's a great question. If I could just kind of put some context to that, I think my 8 meetings then, when it comes to family-oriented people that are looking for proper planning, that are educated and are looking for education, that has always been the case. The process mastery nightmare that I was experiencing at that point because of a
and say that again.
Say
that again. That was beautiful. Say it again. That's a beautiful statement you just made.
The which I wasn't aware of, but the process mastery nightmare that I was
Stop right there. Rob Gill just said process mastery nightmare. And Adam and Fernando and Jerry were having a chat with everybody before. If Rob Gill could admit, who's making a lot of money, that he was involved in a process mastery nightmare, brother, that is ego subjugation at the highest level and greatly appreciated and something that everybody can take stock of. Because I'm going to submit that most people...
And you and I didn't prepare for this either, by the way.
We did not prepare for this. I've never heard you say that phrase before. And so most people would never admit that they are in a process mastery nightmare, and they are. So thank you for that gift. Okay, so why would you define, I think I know what you're going to say, but maybe not, why would you define it as a process mastery nightmare? Go ahead, brother.
Well, at that particular point, even until now, I know once I sit down with somebody, and before the language came in that really elevated me, that I'm good once I'm sitting down. I just wasn't sitting down with enough people, once again, because of the process mastery nightmare challenges that I was going through. So as I began to learn the formula, and I went from 8 to 25 was just proximity. It wasn't the formula, right? And
but
then from 25,
brother, right? So you got a little bit into the formula because proximity, ecosystem merging. So you may not have known the language, but 8 to 25 was because we started to merge ecosystems, still with some friction, but ecosystem merging was happening. Is that fair?
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. So now, so the question I want to zero in on though for 1 second before we jump ahead is so you had the 8 meetings, but how would you have measured, right, the optimal client for you? So I want to dial in tight on that. Because I want people to get the difference between 8 optimal meetings, 8 suboptimal, 8 meetings that would be a 9, 8 meetings that would be an 8 meetings that would be a 7. What would you define as a a level 9 or above meeting at that point? How would you define that? And I don't know the answer even specifically.
Yep.
But really, one sentence: a 9+ meeting for me 2 years ago would have been a person that looked like this.
Well, all right. So the 8 meetings I was having were all optimal, right? Now there's been an evolution since then. What I mean by optimal, this was a person I wanted to sit down and hear what the story was that we had at Epic, right? So the question really for me was,
well, wait, can I go one more? So you're defining optimal. I want to coach Rob up maybe for a second here, as prepared to hear and legitimate sales meeting. I get that criteria.
Yes.
But there's a difference between if you're meeting with Donald Trump and he's fully prepared to hear, right?
Yep.
Or you're meeting with somebody who's, a beautiful soul that is, let's say, working as a server in a restaurant and making,
yep.
$50,000 a year. That would be a difference in the quality of the meeting for your business. Is that a fair statement?
The financial maturity of the two, absolutely. And in those 8, there was still friction. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So give me a picture. Yeah. Quick picture. So optimal. And I'm not saying this is how your world exists because you serve old people, right?
Yep.
But what would the demographics have been of those 8 at that stage? So those 8 at that stage would have looked like what in terms of income or asset base on average?
Great question. So at that point, it would probably be between 500,000 and maybe 5 million at the top end.
Would have been their asset base?
Yeah, like their overall worth, right? Income,
okay.
asset. You know what I mean? Not income of 5 million, but asset. Income. How about income between like 100 and 700,000?
Got
and
it.
a net worth.
Okay. And then when you went from 8 to 25, and a lot of those people, because of ecosystem merging, were doctors.
Doctors, yeah.
Did that asset base average increase?
Yes.
Okay, so just
yep.
You said yes. I didn't hear the rest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would say the asset base excelled past 10 million at that point on average. Of some of the people that I was coming across. Yeah.
So I want everybody to get this idea. What happened for Rob is, and it may not have been fully conscious, but I think it was at least partially conscious, is that when he went from 8 to 25, not only did the number increase, but the economics increased to make each of those clients worth even more in the 8 to 25 jump. Is that a fair statement?
It is, and I also realized at that point that I had to build a better. I had to, build my team up strong. I realized that I was going to a new, let's call it environment, for lack of a better word, and it made me understand that I had to do other things at home, meaning in the office, to build the proper landing zones for the different potentials that we were stepping into. That a year before that I had no idea. Meaning, going in the space of other opportunities, health insurance, P&C insurance, life insurance, asset management, but have separate, distinct divisions with experts in it. And I had to begin the process of building that up as I was stepping into this other space with you, still not knowing the formula in my heart, knowing intuitively, natively in my heart, but not the map itself. Right.
So the point of this is, at this point, you had a brilliant, this is a Trajectory Tuesday, and you had a brilliant person in the space of selling who almost with very little effort tripled his sales meetings and potentially doubled the value per client for his business. And that happened without even understanding the formula at any in-depth level. And today, I'm going to be doing a module, the introduction to the history of the formula and overall framework for those that are in the mastery program. If you're not, please do yourself a favor and get in today. The power of that video to contextualize all the things that we're talking about is utterly remarkable. And taking you through what you could be doing right now as you're in the infancy of learning in Module 1, Step 1, emotional rapport building, Step 2, pain and yes, like that's what's happening. And so that's occurring today. And it's giving deeper learning and context to how all this fits together to model what Rob is talking about. And so to fast forward quickly and complete this with Rob, so Rob is just in his infancy in the formula goes from 8 to 25, but then other ecosystem mergers begin to happen that take him up to 75, 150, and beyond in sales meetings per month through other ecosystem mergers. And we will leave that story for a different day. Where I want to fast forward to is when you're in a more mature stage. Now, for Rob, there's a couple things going on, and we'll get to in a second, and see how all the formula works at different levels. When you're in a more mature stage of accelerating, you have a day that looks like 120 sales meetings being created. And so, Rob, can you just explain, and it's most simple, what did you do? Like, where were you? What? Not even how we got there. Just like literally say, last Thursday, I think it was, I, XYZ, and therefore had 120 sales meetings. In 30 seconds, say what happened. No history, because we could give the history after.
Yep. So last Friday, I was able to speak on Chris Krone's stage, which is an ecosystem merger partner, and there was maybe 300 people in the audience, beautiful souls, and I think there was a lot of factors that all hit at once over the last year within the formula, and in that space of speaking and really going through, I was talking about the formula, I was talking about Chris, I was talking about how myself, Sean, and Chris have connected. I was telling our story. And then I was telling the epic story, and there was a massive call to action. And at the end of it, there was 120 meetings that were set up, potential meetings that are set up, and like 15 of them on the spot right then and there, based on that, I'd say that perfect storm of formula and all the forces together, kind of sending a congruent message to the good people that were out in the audience that were looking for financial sobriety.
Yep. Okay. So stay with me for one more second. Everybody dial in. Watch the dials in the formula that Rob turned. Okay. Number one, he created an ecosystem merger. And that was with Chris Krone, right? And that was first with me. That led to Chris Krone. And then Rob, Chris, and I, created an ecosystem merger. Second, it became more frictionless. So Rob was then able to present on stage at the Chris Krone events. Plus, Rob also films videos for Chris now, who has 500,000 YouTube subscribers. So Rob turned the dial of ecosystem merger and frictionlessness. Then in influence mastery, Rob, and by the way, that's a stage and a microphone for those following along at home. Stage and microphone, like clearly stage and microphone, literally. Okay. Then Rob dialed in on his public speaking. So Rob has now spoken in front of groups of people and shot videos and has increased his influence mastery with a group audience. His emotional rapport building has increased in his group dynamic. His ability to help people disrupt their default no and be connected to their pain and yes in step 2. His unique identity has dramatically increased to the point that in that room and in that space, Rob is a quasi-celebrity. People love him, like him. He's shown lots of hero characteristics at step 3. He's shown humor. He gets his chops busted by me. People enjoy it. They laugh. He's shown his brilliance, his skill sets in helping people, supporting them in their financial world and insurance needs in a very high-level, complex way. He's shown his heart. He's cried on stage. He's been vulnerable. He's been open. He's shown his consistency by showing up there. He's very likable. He's very humble, but he's also full of confidence and pride at the same time. So there's and more. So he's demonstrated over time, and then specifically in that speaking engagement for those that haven't seen him before, his unique identity, but it's also been carried by a substantial portion of that audience already knowing him, liking him, and loving him. And that washing over the new people in a form of group social proof, which is also a conveyor of your unique identity. Rob, all those statements are true, correct?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
If I could add one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you talk about, how we do public coaching and breaking chops, what I, just for anyone out there that has the good fortune of being able to be in my seat in the future, whenever that happens, to me, I get very excited because it's a great opportunity for me to connect with other people. So I would highly recommend, if you're connected to Sean and that opportunity comes your way, embrace it with everything you can, because it's a gift that the dividends that come from that gift are immense.
Yeah. And so it happened also for one of the people on Rob's team, Kelly. We did the same thing. And people were like, oh my God, like Sean was really hard on you and poor you. And like, so all of a sudden people are running up to her to like give her a hug and whatever. And they're building a beautiful relationship because they want to support and they want to connect and they love the vulnerability. They love the access and openness and integrity. And everything I said up there was true. It wasn't staged. It wasn't planned, but a beautiful byproduct is what Rob just said. Now, in addition, what Rob did, another dial he turned, and I'm sharing all of this so you can see in the context of the formula how you go from 8 meetings a month and feeling like wherever you feel you are right now, if you're just at the beginning, and what it looks like down the road as you rise in your level of mastery, remembering Rob did not have a mastery program to go through. Rob was getting coached by me at times. Rob was watching me at times. It wasn't the modules and the structure that exists right now. And all this
it was like street ball versus
Yeah, there was. It was like pick up down at the schoolyard versus playing for the St. Anthony's #1 high school basketball team in the country in a structured process. That's what the mastery program is right now, versus learning bits and pieces, like bumping into each other and be like, what's up? And hey, come speak at this thing. That's what happened for Rob, and all this acceleration happened. So just imagine, see what is here, feel for you right now if you're in this program. It's insane. And to dial in tightly and accelerate through it, okay? So you have all that. And then Rob also turned the dial of confronting and up-leveling his team and training them in the formula at a higher level very recently, and training his team more specifically in it to create acceleration. So even though Rob had been out there at Chris Crone's event, he went from getting 40 to 50 forms filled out to 120, and literally virtually tripling the number, somewhere around 2.5 plus, because he saw another dial to turn. And so my point is that that number could have been 0 if Rob never merged the ecosystems. It could have stayed at 5 or 10. It could have stayed at 40. It could have went to 120. And Rob knows full well that he could duplicate that dynamic over and over and over again with what's happening on Chris Crone's stage, to have 120s getting put on the board all over the place, and then have 120s grow to 500s as the crowd grows larger and the place is bigger, and then have 500s be duplicated at 5s and 10s, and then 20s and 50s by people on his team. That is why we say mathematically, boldly, lovingly, humbly, but with great certainty, that the numbers can grow exponentially, because that's what it looks like. And literally, that's what's happening. Right? Just in 1 second, no, brother. Let that land. Like, absorb the math of what I just demonstrated. The levers, the formula, and why it all works and how it all works. And that's what you're doing here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your trust, your energy, and time. Thank you for being part of the Mastery Program. If you're not, I thank you still for being here. And step into it and do this today. Because every day we risk, if we're not moving forward, windows closing, distraction. Somebody tells us, oh, no, come over here and do this thing. It's better. Just like do a vision board and pray. And I pray every day, by the way. So I'm not mocking prayer. But I'm saying that prayer without action equals going nowhere. Like, the secret is a beautiful thing, but the secret without action and work equals nothing happening. And drawing up another vision board tomorrow isn't going to make this happen. Drawing up a vision board and being in the formula, because the vision board is part of the formula, by the way, is what's going to happen. So go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, to add to your coaching to me, and I want everyone, this is for everybody else, because as great as the 120 sheets sound, and it's phenomenal, and my team really did a phenomenal job at bringing those those sheets in and communicating a good message once I was done. It doesn't mean anything until we actually execute on it for the next 2 weeks. So since we've landed and come back, we've been having multiple meetings in that space of what to do next. And then for me, because this kind of happened last April, Sean it was in March, we went to 150. By September, October, I kind of felt a little bit of success and I wasn't pushing forward. And if anyone knows Sean, he's constantly raising the bar. He's constantly moving forward. That I've had meetings in support of going forward, how to build my own YouTube channel with a proper team that knows how to do it in a way that I can help support everything else that we're all doing together. Because after what I saw in Utah, which is very scalable in every single place, and you could begin to really kind of take that to the next step, we are not picking our heads up. We are now taking that next step as far as execution, results, and really taking that next step forward. And I think that right now, today, Trajectory Tuesday, is what I'm proud of the most, because whatever happened last Friday is already done. That's in its process now. We are now looking to take that next bold step forward to really scale this out and begin to kind of recruit and bring people in from other states and have other offices. That's kind of where our head's at now. And we think the way forward is not only with Unblinded, not only with Chris, but now beginning to build our own YouTube channel, with a team that can help us go to the next level.
Yeah, and everything that Rob is talking about is in the formula, period. So it's just the next level of process mastery. YouTube is just a stage and a microphone. And every day that Rob Gill isn't physically in a room with a microphone is a day that is not optimal. As long as he has the people on his team that could follow through and make things happen the way he can. And these are beautiful, awesome people on the team. And in integrity, there's still a gap between Rob and even the best on his team, as there is for me at Cal Law, right? So closing that gap by up-leveling the performance of the people and or bringing in additional amazing people, that's the game Rob is playing right now. And that's what scalability, business ownership, him in highest and best use looks like, and that's the map of your future. That's the map of your future. And now here's the great challenge to you. The great challenge to you is to have a story better than Rob's. Rob's story is awesome. And Rob wants you, and I want you, and Jared, Adam, Fernando, everybody here wants you to have a better story. Like, crush that story. Like, dude, it took you that long? And you were that close to Sean? Like, what? Like, want to say that to Rob and hug him and laugh, and he'll hug you back and say, awesome job. Because that's what this space is about now. It's about that It's about loving each other. It's about contribution. It's about having beautiful webinars with Siri Lindley and ending horse slaughter, saving girls from sexual slavery, and going to Tony Robbins' birthday, which I invite all of you to come on February 29th, and then March 1st, the event with Beck Siri, Tony Robbins, and Melissa Etheridge. Like, let's all go do that together and hug and dance and having a beautiful and fun time. And let's do the work. Because I think there's way too much just beautiful, fun timeness that goes on in the world, which I love beautiful, fun timeness. That's the magic. We got to roll up the sleeves too and have fun. There's magic in working. There's magic in competing. There's magic in merging ecosystems. There's magic in going from hello to yes. There's magic when people don't believe in disrupting their default no. There's magic in that too. And celebrating that together is a beautiful thing. I've had that blessing and privilege since playing high school athletics, college athletics, crushing it in moot court and law school, finding process mastery ways to take people who are smarter than me IQ-wise, I'm sure, and beat their grades academically in law school because my process in the formula before I even knew it was a formula was even better than theirs. Like, that's fun too. Like, this is fun. It's exciting. It's magic. Jared, what's up, brother?
What's up, everybody? Sean, awesome call. This is what it looks like. And I really hope everybody let that land today. This is one of those sessions that you might even need to watch again, right? For those distinctions. And that's, to me, the coolest part about mastery. And this happened yesterday when Sean was recording a module, is the level of depth that's happening now. Like, having 90 minutes on one specific topic is something that no one would be able to do with Sean, but now everyone can, because he's able to focus on one specific thing and go deep. And go like layers deep where all of us are like, Sean, these are like distinctions we've never heard before. Like this is extraordinary. So like
Jared, I hate to interrupt, but I always do. I'm sorry. You are
Go.
so right. I have never in my life taught step 2 of integrity-based human influence, disrupting default no and eliciting yes strategy. There's not one person on the planet that understood it at 1/10 the level that you understand it after module 2. I've never taught it that way. I always move through step 2 in my 2-hour speaking and even Unblinded weekend rapidly. Adam, Jared, Fernando, Rob, all the closest people to me in the formula and the work have no idea what's in that module. Fernando was on it, took notes, pages and pages of notes, saying this is absolutely mind-blowing because it's deep. And I don't want, because, one of the challenges on day 1, people are like, you hit me with a fire hose, dude. It was like so much. It was so overwhelming, at day 1 of Unblinded. That's why these modules and what Jared's saying is so powerful. I'm just emphasizing what he's saying. You have no idea the power of integrity and light and disruption and truth that is in that step 2 module. So please, back to you, Jared.
Cool. And like where I was going with this is like, this is one of the things that's fascinating to me about Sean is that anyone else in the space of teaching and training, they always hold something back to sell you something more. And like Sean is literally the exact opposite, which is we're going to literally give you everything to build the most powerful ecosystem on the planet that's merging at the highest level so that together we can create more. That's what it looks like. Like that's why all of us are here. Like it wasn't like Adam Gugino like needed to make this change, but he did need to make this change. It wasn't like I needed another quote unquote project or company. It wasn't like Fernando wasn't already busy. It was that when we met Sean, we saw someone that was willing to hold absolutely nothing back, give everything he had, yet be open to new distinctions coming in real time because there's innovation, iteration happening every day so that all of you can be empowered with the single most important skill on the planet. That's no hype, never mistaken anything I say for hype. That's exactly what it looks like. So the call to action for you today is if you believe that you're better with us than without us, and you're already with us by showing up for these huddles, so just please realize that. But if you're better with us than without us from the standpoint of mastery around integrity-based human influence, call us. Do a coaching call today with one of our trainers. Like understand really what it means to begin the process of mastery. One of the cool things about our sales coaching calls is that as we are selling you the mastery program, we're in the formula and we're teaching you the formula at the same time. It's like the greatest opportunity to learn is by being in it and seeing how it feels. Sean, would you agree with that?
Jared, I couldn't agree more. And I just want to drop 2 distinction bombs right now, right? Disruption, distinction bombs. Number 1.
Note taking time.
Number 1, I want everybody here to understand that we are better with you than without you. We are, without a doubt, and that's why I want you here. And we don't want it just because you buy the mastery program. We want to build something massive together. And with love, make no mistake, you're better with us than without us. And I mean that for everybody out there who wants to increase their sales, their footprint, and what they're doing. And that's why we are honored and privileged that people like Jack Canfield, that wasn't a setup, it wasn't a game, it wasn't a trick. He's a paying member of the program. Joseph McClendon. I am so honored and humbled to have those people in this program. And also because they are so committed to growth and learning. It's remarkable. And I know we are better with them. And I know they are better with us. Like that's what we're talking about. Second, right? It's an interesting dynamic of Jared Yellen. And Jared is somebody that is no nonsense, tremendous boundaries, much better than mine, right? Which makes him less of a pleaser than I am. And I'm learning from him, and he's learning from me. And this dude, if you want to learn how to create business ownership, process mastery, and acceleration, he is all about it. And there's immense things to learn from him. And I am learning from him, and he's helping me with my boundaries. And I've learned a lot, and I'm going to give this to everybody because I think a lot of people in this call would have caretaking, pleasing, codependent type tendencies. A lot of you, not all of you, a lot. I have been so hurt in the last 30 days by some people that I have given to massively throughout my life, and feeling the reality of how much they just want to take and not give. And I'm not talking about anybody in this phone line, but it has hurt my heart so deeply. And I've had my heart hurt a lot of times in my life through giving. And people are like, well, I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. And it's like, yeah, but what about like something on like, for me, like fairness, value? What about what you agreed to? Oh, blah, blah, right? Like nonsense, ridiculousness. So part of this program is also what we learn about agreement formation. That's step 4. It's clarity, because we are all in disagreement if we're not in affirmative, clear agreement. And we are also suboptimal in our process mastery if our ecosystem mergers aren't built on a pillar of mutual value exchange. And the space of mutual value exchange, in my heart and love, I have to say it, $5,000 for this Unblinded Sales Mastery Certification Program is preposterously, disgustingly cheap. Disgustingly. The price I have paid to create this is in the millions, plural. The price we paid to get people to understand what the program is, to sell it for $5,000, has been extraordinarily insane. We are doing this to build partnership and merge ecosystem and accelerate. That's what it's about, and to give massive value. So I say all those things because I haven't said them as much, and I don't like talking. You know, I'm still growing, and I love giving and sharing and loving and the whole thing. But in the space of value exchange, I have been giving way too much, and for a long time, for free, for love, for time. And I like people liking me. I like people saying nice things. It feels good. And I need to teach value exchange. And that's a part of what we're doing right now at this point. And please just connect to the fact that I am sure if I'm doing that, you're doing that. You're giving your time away. You're giving your heart away. You're giving your energy away. And that's a beautiful thing. But make sure you're doing it and distinguishing between two spaces. The space of charitable contribution, which should be beautiful giving, and the space of building your money, time, and magic in love and integrity. But don't confuse the two. Be intentional about the two. And I've gotten a little sloppy in that space. And the work we're doing here that I'm getting coached on by my coach, the work that Jared, and Adam and Fernando are reminding me of, has been incredibly powerful as well. And I'll challenge Rob in that space too, because Rob is a big-hearted giver as well, and challenge him as he's merging ecosystems, other spaces, to realize the value he adds now to people's world with his skills with the microphone and on the stage. So Jared, back to you, brother.
So final, give us a call, 863-862-5463, 863-862-5463, and schedule a sales coaching call with one of our trainers. It'll be the best sales training you've gone through, because we're going to be selling you mastery inside of the formula and explaining what we're doing as we're doing it, so you can learn. And then if you're better with us and without us, and we're better with you than without you, then you'll say yes. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time, Sean. Amazing as always. Let's do a hands in today. This feels like a hands in kind of day. Take yourself off mute.
Let's go.
Take yourself off mute. 3. We're gonna say together, because that's what it looks like. Take yourself off mute.
Hit it together hard. If you're alone, hit it hard. Like, hit it hard. Don't be embarrassed. Like, hit it hard.
Scream it. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Great rising, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Enjoy the day.
Have a great day. God bless everybody.
This is what it looks like. See you out there, guys. Thanks, everybody.